Hey, this is Booker T, 5-time champ, and you're watching Comics Artist Pro Secret, and you're looking real jack, baby. Now can you dig that?
Alright, hey everyone, good morning. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and my name's Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a 26-year veteran of this crumbling comic book industry, world's most charming and disarming, elegant and eloquent, humble though I fumble, man. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media. And today in the news, we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson here. Almost everybody's favorite actor, favorite action film actor right now. Everybody loves The Rock. And he's talking about his new movie, Hobbs and Shaw, which he's doing with Idris Elba. This is going to be a high T phenomenon. People are looking forward to going to see Hobbs and Shaw. And I think that because this is a movie that's going to celebrate manhood, masculinity, no soy boys unless they're under your boot. Under your foot. That's where soy boys belong. I think this is going to be a tremendously successful movie. But interestingly enough, there's an article, I think this comes from Variety magazine here, this morning. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says Idris Elba nixed the Blaq James Bond joke in Hobbs and Shaw. So he was supposed to actually say something here that he refused to say. Look at these two. These are two men. These are two men, and these are the women that admire them. I guess there's just one woman back there that admires them, but you know there are women. These women do. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would admire Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Idris Elba. All normal women do. All right, so we'll scroll down here. In The Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, the movie's villain Brixton, played by Idris Elba, so he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy in this movie. Spreads his arms out wide and declares, "I'm Black Superman." Okay? He says, "I'm Black." You know that's going to get some applause. He's Black Superman. Turns out that might not have been the original line. He was asked to say something different. Dwayne Johnson tells Variety that Elba was first asked to proclaim that he's Blaq James Bond. Too late, but the Brit actor declined, saying it's too close to what everybody's talking about. Idris Elba has continually been on the top of fans' wish list for who should replace Daniel Craig as 007. If only that were the case, because instead what we've got Leshawna Lynch. So Idris Elba was gonna play Blaq James Bond, but now we've got Blaq James Bond, one of the weirdest new actresses in Hollywood. Part of an underground cult conspiracy of SJWs who are going to open up all kinds of doors for each other and ruin some of the biggest properties that Hollywood's ever known. And this is one of them. Leshawna Lynch is reportedly the new 007. Here's how the new James Bond movie can do right by her. Screw her! How is she going to do right? How is she going to avoid ruining the James Bond franchise, the 007 franchise? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This woman shows up in a movie called Captain Marvel starring Brie Larson. She's a blank in that movie. I got to tell you, her role as Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, she's a blank. She's not. She's expressionless. She's cold. She's weird. She's robotic. She's everything that an SJW woman, a third wave feminist, turns out to be. Look at her face even here. Every picture I've found of her, her face is just utterly blank. I mean, look at this. What is this facial expression right here? What is this little tiny upturned mouth here? This is something Brie Larson always does too. And it's not a full smile. It's something like, hello, fellow humans. It's like, they don't know it yet, but I'm going to annihilate all of them. I am a representative from Mars, and I am just the advanced man. I'm here to scope out Earthling society, and then I'm going to destroy them. This weird alien sort of face and the dead eyes and everything. Enough of it already. So this is our concern. How can we make you comfortable, Leshawna Lynch, in this role? How can we pave the way? How can we litter your feet with rose petals in this role that you have clearly earned? Because we've seen you in lots of movies, and you're a big star, full of charisma, just the right kind of charisma to play 007. Now, the only question is, since you're doing so much for us, what can we do for you? How can we do right by you? That is an important question. How can we help facilitate this weirdo hostile takeover of masculine fantasy properties like James Bond and Star Wars and the Marvel Universe. How can we help you do this? How can we help you ruin the things that we love? Are you comfortable? Would you like a pillow? Would you like a glass of warm milk? All right, so let's go on here and read about this. While Daniel Craig is returning to play James Bond himself, according to this leak, a lot of descriptions. Leak is usually what leaks? Viscous fluids, gross things leak. Is there ever anything that leaks that's not like stinky and disgusting and smelly? Bond begins the film in retirement and is called back to active duty when a crisis hits. Oh no, not a crisis. In the M16 office, he meets the new 007. Oh, that's the crisis. Not the new Bond, but the new holder of that alias, a black woman named Nomi, played by Lynch. By the way, this might be the first article that I've read about this that didn't refer to her as stunning. Now, lately, the shill media will refer to people whose faces take a long second to adjust to as stunning. It's never beautiful women. It's not, objectively beautiful women. It's always strange-looking individuals, strange-looking feminists and weirdos and SJWs who have found themselves in positions and roles in which they're going to be photographed a lot and people are going to look at them. They're stunning. They're all stunning people. All of them are stunning. All right, so Craig has been saying for years that he wants to retire from the Bond role. I know it's a burden. It is a burden. It's possible that after the yet unnamed 25th Bond film, Lynch will take over the franchise for him. Oh, that'll be nice. Or at least star in the spinoff. Probably not gonna happen. Probably won't happen. But, you can say that and irritate people. There has been much debate over the years as to whether Craig's successor could be female or a person of color. That's fine. Rumors once swirled around Idris Elba as a possible replacement. And at this point, he's eyeing the role of Black Superman, not Blaq James Bond. So that's interesting. Executive producer Barbara Broccoli. Barbara Broccoli is the executive producer. I never liked her on my plate. Said in an interview last fall, actually I do now. The older I get, the more I like Broccoli. Bond was created male, and she intended to keep the character male while adding more female characters to the story around him. That's perfect, Barbara Broccoli. I do like you after all. Suddenly I have a taste for broccoli. I like the idea that James Bond is male, and there are more female characters around him, preferably naked ones, or in various states of undress, who he is seducing with amazing charm and verve. But James Bond has to be that kind of guy. He has to be the kind of guy who casually gets into action sequences, can handle any situation, is supremely prepared and self-confident, and then he loves the lovely ladies. Oh, how he loves them. He loves the lovely ladies, and as we watch him love the lovely ladies, we truly understand what it means to love. And that's what he's meant to be. So yes, add more female characters to the story around him. Don't make them look like this, please. That's weird and unsettling. Lynch's ascension signals major progress for a franchise that has long felt trapped in the 20th century. Oh no, not the 20th century. Not when everything was normal. Up until this point, the role of the world's greatest secret agent has been played exclusively by white men. White men. What's more, James Bond's sexism, racism, and general sexism. Nobody is free from SJWs. Nobody is free. No character is free. No fictional and no non-fictional character can ever be free from the hectoring of these perverted moralist scolds and henpeckers. You cannot escape these people. James Bond is sexist and racist, and he's generally reckless. It's proven impossible to ignore in the year 2019. We can't have fun anymore. No more fun. James Bond is too much fun, and we can no longer turn a blind eye to his character that is, he's just problematic. But it sounds like in Bond 25, the classic character will have to wrangle with Me Too. Yeah, well, let's call this movie The Spy That Loved Me Too. That would be a wonderful update to Bond, or it could place Lynch in a precarious glass cliff situation. What is a glass cliff situation? I am not going to click that link. I am positive that it's porn. Bond has been bedding women and leaving them for dead for over half a century. Hell yeah, and let's do another half a century of that. To take on this role is by definition to enter a minefield of problematic behavior. In Craig's own words, the character has always been a very lonely, sexist misogynist. Not a sexist misogynist. That's terrible. If the new James Bond movie wants to offer a corrective, its creators have an awful lot of work to do. Yeah, I don't know. I think Ian Fleming is dead. He is the creator, and there's no reason to correct his work. That's why it's stuck around for 50 years. You weirdos, you SJWs, you quote-unquote correct people's work, the work of geniuses, correcting characters that everyone loves, and you ruin them. I mean, that's traditionally what you do. You started doing this just recently. You have plowed through so many beloved characters that have lasted, sometimes 3/4 of a century. You guys just instantly ruin them because everyone's a sexist misogynist. This is problematic. It's impossible to ignore their behavior in 2019. For decades, Bond was the ultimate male fantasy. Men wanted to be him, and women wanted to be with him. So he's the ultimate fantasy, not the ultimate male fantasy, apparently, because women want to be with him too. Or did they? Upon rewatching the movies, it becomes clear that most of Bond's interactions with women over the years could be classified as assault or even rape. Post-Me Too, James Bond will become the poster child for your problematic fave meme. We still feel nostalgia for these iconic spy thrillers, but struggle with just about every interaction Bond has with a woman. Okay, maybe it's not for you. The source says Bond is sexually attracted to the new female 007 played by Lynch. What? And tries his usual seduction tricks, but that he is, quote, baffled when they don't work. Well, Mr. Bond, give me a few minutes. I could probably explain it to you, but I'm pretty sure you're a man of the world, and you've figured it out by now. You figured it out. You don't need me to tell you what's what, do you? All right. The Insider also says that the term Bond girls has been replaced with Bond women. Hooray for small victories. Not inclusive enough. I think it should be Bond humans. I think Bond humans, Bond people or Bond humans should be the correct nomenclature. This is Bond for the modern era, who will appeal to a younger generation while sticking true to what we all expect in a Bond film. Why do they all think this is going to work? They try this over and over and over again. They insert woke politics and nonsense into James Bond, into everything. It does not work. Nobody wants it. It fails time and time again. And they think the young people want this. Somehow they think this younger generation are a bunch of NPCs that are easily programmable, but I don't think they are. I think my kids' generation despise SJWs, hate PC culture, cannot stand this weird authoritarianism that pervades all of culture. I really think that, again, they're going to have to realize you dummies are barking up the wrong tree. Oh, there are spectacular chase sequences and fights. Yeah, but he's chasing clout and he's fighting with his inner misogynist, you see. That's not something that people want to see on the screen. And Bond is still Bond when he's having to learn to deal with the world of Me Too. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my god, this is horrible. Oh, this couldn't be worse. These people are crazy. And you know what? They're completely emboldened now. Failure is not something that's going to stop them. They are not going to stop just because they lose hundreds of millions of dollars. That's just not enough of a reason to stop. That sounds intriguing. No, it sounds boring and stupid, banal. And creating a woman who is her own character rather than Jane Bond, a woman with the same disturbing characteristics as... If you find him disturbing, please just don't work on the franchise. If you find James Bond... This is the traditional way that social justice warriors destroy. They enter into a franchise, a hobby, or a group, culture, something, and they say, this is all sexist, this is all disgusting. And the men inside kind of go, what, really? It is? Okay. Oh, we didn't know that. And then the SJWs go, yeah, we're just going to make some changes around here. And the men are cowed, and they kind of go, okay, make the changes that you want to. And they come in and they make sweeping, obnoxious identity politics changes that completely ruin everything about the original property, everything that was fun and prosperous about the franchise, the hobby, the industry. And then when people finally go, hey, this sucks, these same people go, well, you're a racist and a sexist and a bigot and a misogynist and a homophobe. And then fans free the whole franchise, the whole thing. It collapses. And the social justice warriors go, it was sexist garbage anyway. And then they move on to the next thing. They're invading James Bond. This is fantastic to watch. It's like, what's great, well, it's not fantastic. Don't misunderstand me. It's just amazing that it happens the same way every single time. It's predictable. You can set your watch by it. And they're just admitting it right here. The disturbing characteristics, don't work on it. If that's truly how you feel, people love James Bond. If you find it disturbing, get the hell away from it. But updating a problematic franchise, oh my God. Oh, this is death. This is absolute death. We got to stop these people. We have to stop social justice warriors. We have to. They're ruining everything. They're ruining everything that's good, everything that people like. They just come in, they have zero creativity. They only have agenda, and they ruin. It would be wonderful to watch a film that reckons with Bond's misogyny and racism. Yeah, just have Bond be humiliated, on the screen. That'll be fun for the amusement of weirdos, the far leftists. Just, sure. But it would be tiresome if that film burdens Lynch's Nomi by requiring her to explain to James Bond why it's not okay to force women to have sex with you, and leaves little time to develop Nomi as a character independent of this elder statement of... This is absolute hell. You know what? They're going to make YouTube is going to have a ton of videos about this. I can already tell. This is peak SJWism. It's right out. I mean, everything that we talk about, all of the attitudes, all of the destructive attitudes of social justice warriors are expressed right here in this article. Vividly. Do you care about James Bond? Are you a fan of James Bond? Are you worried about your franchise? Are you worried about your hero? Because they found him. They've got their way in. I wonder if these people make a list. I gotta think that these social justice warriors have a list of toxic masculine characters and in movies and film and books, and they're just running down. They've got a checklist of what to do and how to ruin it. James Bond is the current. Well, they did the MCU. They did Star Wars. Now they're doing James Bond. Others will follow. It's going to get worse and worse. They've got Terminator. They've got Terminator, too. Let's not forget Terminator. It's really something else. Anyway, I could go on and talk about this all day long. I'm going to cut this video off right here. I think I've made my point. Disgusting. And, Idris Elba, you should have just come out and said, I am the Blaq James Bond. Because we would have preferred it. Honestly, it would have been fine. You would have been great as James Bond. This is ridiculous. This is disgusting. Obviously, Hobbs and Shaw looks like it's going to be a good movie, and I wish that movie and everybody involved in it the best. But this is pure filth. This is absolute cancer, and what are you going to do? Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a comic book creator who worked for 20 years for Marvel and DC Comics on books like Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But before that, I had a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 to 1998, and then it stopped when I went to go work for DC Comics. Now I want to tell the story of where Cyberfrog has been for the last 20 years. I want to write, pencil, ink a book called Cyberfrog Blood Honey that tells the story of gigantic alien hornets that come to Earth and conquer it, sending Cyberfrog into deep hibernation, where he emerges now in the year 2018 into a completely alternate reality, a new world where these hornets have taken over, devastated humanity, using human skin to make gigantic wasp hives, and harvesting human blood to make honey to feed their young. Very few humans still exist. But it's up to Cyberfrog to save what's left of humanity and turn back the damage that's been done by these wasps with his brother Salamandroid and his friend Heather Swain. I want you to help me do this. We're going to get colors by Kyle Ritter. He's a fantastic colorist, and he's going to make this book sing. I'd like this to be a 48-page one-shot prestige format, part 1 of 4, so I'm asking you to help me launch the very first Cyberfrog Blood Honey epic graphic novel. Are you in? Will you help me? I hope so. Let's get this frog jumping again.